I stand here knowing that my story is part of the larger American story, that I owe a debt to all of those who came before me.
Barack Obama, the 44th American President of the United States, was the first African American to hold this office. There is no doubt that his political trajectory brought his family into the public spotlight, which sometimes also led to unwanted or negative attention. However, the fame, opulence, recognition, and influence of the Obama family didn't come without a huge price. Recently, there is a mention of the Obama girls in an interview, hinting at what could have destroyed the Obama family, specifically with some controversies around the birth of the girls. Some people even question why there were no public pictures of Michelle's pregnancy. Others criticize her for not sharing the backstory behind the birth of her daughters early enough. In this video, we'll walk through the family life of the Obamas and the surprising revelation by Obama's daughters. Obama's wife, Michelle. Michelle LaVaughn Robinson, better known to the world as Michelle Obama, was born on January 17, 1964, in the vibrant city of Chicago, Illinois. Her father, Fraser Robinson III, dedicated his days to working at the city's water plant while also dabbling in local political affairs. Her mother, Marion Shields Robinson, initially held a position as a secretary at Spiegel's catalog store, but later decided to stay at home to care for Michelle and her brother, ensuring a nurturing environment as they grew up, especially during Michelle's high school years. This foundation of hard work and family support played a crucial role in shaping Michelle's early life and values. Michelle's lineage is deeply intertwined with American history, reaching back to the days before the Civil War. On her father's side, her ancestors come from the Gullah people of South Carolina. Her great-great-grandfather, Jim Robinson, was born into slavery in 1850 on a plantation, but gained his freedom at the age of 15 following the Civil War. Remarkably, some of Michelle's relatives continue to reside in the Georgetown region of South Carolina, where her grandfather, Fraser Robinson Jr., even constructed his own home and returned after retirement. Similarly, on her mother's side, Michelle's great-great-great-grandmother, Melvinia Dosey Shields, was also born into slavery in South Carolina. She was sold to Henry Walls Shields, a plantation owner in Georgia. Melvinia had a son named Adolphus Shields, a mixed-race child born around 1860. It's believed that his father was likely Charles Moran Shields, the son of Melvinia's owner. After gaining her freedom, Melvinia had more children of mixed race and continued living near the Shields family. Like many families with such a legacy, discussions about the period of enslavement were rare in Michelle's household. Yet her diverse heritage also includes Irish, English, and Native American roots, and she even has a cousin, Rabbi Capers Funny, who was born in South Carolina and later embraced Judaism. In her early years, Michelle Obama lived on the top floor of a building in Chicago's South Uid Avenue, where her family rented from her great-aunt, who resided downstairs. Life for Michelle was relatively typical. Her mother was a homemaker, her father was a hard-working man, and everyone had dinner together every night. With her elementary school just a short walk away, her childhood was filled with simple pleasures like Monopoly games, reading, and frequent visits with relatives. Michelle's great-aunt, a piano teacher, also imparted her love of music to Michelle. Michelle learned to play the piano under her guidance. The family was equally active in their church, attending South Shore United Methodist, and they often escaped the city for vacations in a rustic Michigan cabin. However, life wasn't without its challenges. Michelle's father battled multiple sclerosis, a reality that weighed heavily on the family. This made Michelle more resolute to excel academically and by all means avoid trouble. By the time she reached 6th grade, she was placed in a gifted class at Bryn Mawr Elementary School. Her educational journey then took her to Whitney Young High School, Chicago's first magnet high school, known for its competitive admissions. To get to her school, she had to make a journey of 3 hours every day. But the daily 3-hour round-trip commute didn't deter her. Each day, Michelle navigated the busy streets of Chicago, riding public transportation for long stretches, often using the time to study or reflect on her aspirations. The early mornings and late returns home were exhausting, but the journey became a test of her commitment to her education. Despite the distance and challenges, her drive to succeed only intensified, setting the stage for her remarkable achievements later in life. Michelle wasn't alone in her achievements. Her older brother Craig was just 21 months older than her, and like her, he had also skipped the second grade. Growing up, they shared a strong sibling bond, often challenging each other to do their best. However, Michelle had to face gender bias, as people would often ask for her brother's opinion instead of hers in public discussions. But this did not deter her. Instead, it motivated her to prove her capabilities. Academically, Michelle thrived, consistently making the honor roll, taking advanced courses, and joining the National Honor Society. Her leadership skills also shone through as she served as the Student Council treasurer. By the time she graduated in 1981, she had secured her place as the class salutatorian, standing proudly as the second highest-ranking student. Michelle's academic journey and initial career steps. After graduating from high school, Michelle followed in her older brother Craig's footsteps by attending Princeton University. In 1981, she started her academic journey at the prestigious institution, majoring in sociology with a minor in African American studies. Her dedication and intellect were evident as she graduated with honors in 1985. One of her significant academic achievements was her 99-page senior thesis titled Princeton Educated Blacks and the Black Community, a work she completed under the mentorship of her advisor, Walter Wallace. During her high school years, some teachers tried to dissuade her from aiming for Princeton, suggesting she should set her sights lower. However, Michelle was undeterred. While she believed her brother's strong reputation as a student may have aided her acceptance, she was resolute in demonstrating her own capabilities and forging her own path. During her inaugural year at Princeton, Michelle Obama faced a challenging transition. Overwhelmed by the unfamiliar environment and the academic rigor, coupled with the fact that her parents had not attended college, her first-year university experience was quite daunting. Compounding her struggles, Michelle encountered a troubling incident when her white roommate's mother reportedly attempted to have her daughter's room changed simply because Michelle was black. Even though her peers and professors had been generally supportive and welcoming, this marked a profound moment of racial awareness for Michelle. The contrast between her own background and the affluence of some classmates who drove luxurious vehicles was stark and surprising. To navigate these challenges, Michelle engaged with the Third World Center, an organization dedicated to supporting minority students. She took on roles at their daycare center and provided tutoring for older children, while also advocating for a more conversational approach to teaching French, reflecting her commitment to both personal growth and community support. For her senior thesis, she took on a persuasive research project focused on African American graduates from Princeton. Her aim was to explore how their experiences at the prestigious institution shaped their sense of racial identity both during and after their time at the university. She reached out to 400 alumni to gather their insights, but only lesser than 90 responded to her survey. Even so, the results were both revealing and disheartening. This would only mean that a significant number of Black alumni felt a reduced connection to the African American community after their graduation. This shift in identity and community ties was a bitter finding for her, revealing an unexpected and troubling trend that underscored a broader issue of racial disconnection among graduates of elite institutions. Then, after earning her undergraduate degree from Princeton, Michelle Obama furthered her education at Harvard Law School, where she received her Juris Doctor, JD, in 1988. By the time she applied to Harvard, Michelle had gained a stronger sense of self, embracing both her intelligence and identity as a Black woman. This confidence was also noted by her mentor, Charles Ogletree, who observed that Michelle had reconciled her brilliance with her racial identity, a struggle she had faced during her Princeton years. At Harvard, she actively participated in protests advocating for increased diversity among faculty members and provided legal assistance to low-income tenants through the Harvard Legal Aid Bureau. Michelle's academic achievements placed her among a select group of First Ladies with advanced degrees, a distinction shared with Hillary Clinton and Laura Bush. Reflecting on her journey, Michelle has often highlighted how her education opened doors to opportunities she once thought unattainable. One of such doors was the door of her marriage to former President Obama, her career and exploration with Barack Obama. In the early stages of Michelle Obama's legal career, destiny played a significant role when she crossed paths with Barack Obama at Sidley Austin LLP, one of the most prestigious law firms in Chicago. Michelle, who was among the few African Americans at the firm, was already making waves with her brilliance and dedication. Yet, in a twist of fate, it wasn't just her legal acumen that would be put to the test, it was her role as a mentor. Barack Obama, a charismatic and thoughtful summer associate, was assigned to her for guidance. Their connection wasn't forged in the boardrooms or court cases, but rather over more personal and communal settings. They kicked off their relationship with a business lunch, and what started as a simple business lunch quickly evolved into deeper conversations during community organization meetings. These are places where Barack's passion for social justice and making a difference left a strong impression on Michelle. Before meeting him, she had been laser-focused on climbing the professional ladder, fully committed to her career trajectory. Her mother could attest to that, as Michelle had often expressed her ambitions and clear plans for the future, with no room for distractions. However, life had other plans. Their first date, a seemingly ordinary night out to see Spike Lee's groundbreaking film Do the Right Thing in 1989, turned into a pivotal moment for both of them. It turned out not to be just any movie date, but a symbol of shared values, social consciousness, and the beginning of something extraordinary. As Barack later reflected, their relationship was a classic case of opposites attract. Michelle, grounded by her upbringing in a stable two-parent household, brought a sense of structure and stability. In contrast, Barack, with his diverse experiences and adventurous spirit, added a dynamic energy to their partnership. Their connection was undeniable and only grew stronger over time, weaving together their different backgrounds into a powerful bond. This relationship, built on mutual respect, shared ideals, and a deep understanding of each other's journeys, culminated in their marriage on October 3, 1992, a union that would eventually shape the course of American history. Going back to talking about her career, Michelle's tenure at Sidley and Austin in Chicago was marked by her deep interest and exploration of marketing and intellectual property law. Although she continues to hold her law license, she voluntarily placed it on inactive status in 1993, as her career path no longer required it. By 1991, Michelle had transitioned into public service roles within Chicago's city government, serving as an assistant to the mayor and later as the Assistant Commissioner of Planning and Development. In 1993, she took on the role of Executive Director for the Chicago Office of Public Allies, a nonprofit dedicated to inspiring young people to engage in social work through nonprofit organizations and government entities. Michelle excelled in this position, setting fundraising records that remained unbeaten for 12 years after her departure. Reflecting on this time, she has often said that her work at Public Allies marked one of the happiest periods of her professional life. Soon, in 1996, Michelle Obama took on the role of Associate Dean of Student Services at the University of Chicago, where she spearheaded the establishment of a community service center. During an interview that same year, she acknowledged that her husband, Barack Obama, might soon pursue a career in politics. Although she had reservations about the potential loss of privacy, knowing that their personal lives would be exposed to public scrutiny, Michelle stood by his ambitions. She actively supported Barack's political journey by participating in campaigns and helping raise funds, despite her unease with the attention that would come with it. During Barack Obama's 2000 campaign for the U.S. House of Representatives, Michelle Obama found herself less than thrilled with the demands of the political world. She had her hands full balancing her own career at the University of Chicago, raising their young daughters, and supporting Barack's ambitions. In fact, when her boss asked if there was anything she enjoyed about campaigning, Michelle, known for her wit, responded that at least the campaign allowed her to see plenty of new homes, giving her fresh ideas for interior design. However, Beyond the humor, Michelle harbored serious doubts about Barack's political pursuits, especially when they clashed with her vision of what their family needed. After Barack's defeat, she hoped he might redirect his focus towards more practical goals, like ensuring their family's financial stability. By the time Barack announced his bid for the presidency in 2008, Michelle's concerns had only deepened. She worried about how the relentless spotlight of a national campaign would affect their daughters, Malia and Sasha, who were still so young. Michelle knew the demands of a presidential race would stretch their family's resilience to the limit. Ultimately, though, she decided to stand by Barack's side, but with one non-negotiable condition. He had to quit smoking, a habit that had long been a source of tension between them. While Michelle didn't officially hold a senior advisor title during the campaign, her influence was undeniable. She took on a critical role by speaking candidly about issues of race and education, often weaving her own life experiences into her speeches. As a mother, Michelle was able to connect with people on a deeply personal level, grounding complex political discussions in everyday realities that resonated with many voters across the country. Isn't she an all-round person? Subsequently, in May 2007, just 3 months after Barack Obama announced his presidential candidacy, Michelle Obama decided to significantly scale back her professional responsibilities by a whopping 80% to support his campaign. At first, her involvement was minimal. She attended events only twice a week and rarely stayed overnight. However, by February 2008, her role had expanded dramatically. Over the course of just 8 days, she attended 33 events and even made several campaign appearances alongside Oprah Winfrey. Michelle, ever the independent thinker, crafted her own speeches and often spoke without relying on notes. Interestingly, during the campaign, some media outlets and commentators attempted to label Michelle Obama as an angry black woman, a stereotype often used to unfairly diminish and discredit black women. Despite the negativity, Michelle remained composed and undeterred. She addressed these labels head-on, explaining that both she and Barack had developed thick skin over the years. They had learned to navigate criticism, recognizing it as an inevitable part of the political process. Instead of letting the negative portrayal define her, Michelle focused on her message and continued to support Barack's campaign, all while maintaining her dignity and poise. In the subsequent events that led up to the Democratic National Convention in August 2008, Michelle Obama underwent a notable transformation on the campaign trail. Instead of delivering strong messages that challenged her audiences, she shifted her approach to one of listening and connecting with people on a personal level. Her focus moved toward understanding the concerns of everyday citizens. This change was also reflected in her public appearances, and she began featuring on shows like The View and gracing the pages of magazines such as Ladies' Home Journal, where she embraced a more relaxed and relatable style, opting for casual attire over the designer outfits she had worn earlier in the campaign. The media closely followed this evolution in her public persona, recognizing it as a deliberate effort to present a softer, more approachable image to the public. Then, amidst the 2008 presidential campaign, Michelle Obama stepped onto the national stage, marking her first exposure to high-profile politics. Initially perceived as the lesser-known of the candidates' spouses, she began by sharing stories of her family life. However, she had to gradually dial back her sharp wit as media scrutiny intensified. This could be because of many observations and criticisms. Quite notable among them is New York Times columnist Maureen Dowd, who observed that Michelle's playful jabs at her husband could potentially dilute his public image. Later that year, during the Democratic National Convention, Michelle was introduced by her brother, Craig Robinson, setting the stage for her to connect with the American public. In her speech, she painted a picture of her family's journey as a reflection of the American dream, underscoring values like hard work, integrity, and respect for others, even amidst disagreements. Additionally, she addressed concerns stemming from a past comment about her pride in her country, offering a message of patriotism. The speech resonated with the audience, boosting her favorability ratings to 55%. At the time of the 2012 presidential re-election campaign, Michelle Obama became more involved politically than she had been since her husband's 2008 run. Her public persona evolved, making her a more visible and active figure. Michelle quickly became a standout within the Obama administration, frequently outshining other political figures in terms of popularity, with approval ratings that consistently stood above 60%. A senior campaign official even noted that she was arguably the most admired political figure in America at that time. Despite being a bit controversial political figure, Michelle Obama managed to reshape her public image between 2008 and 2012. While she continued to elicit passionate reactions from both supporters and detractors, her appeal broadened significantly. One notable aspect of this transformation was her evolving fashion sense. Known for her bold and elegant style during her early years as First Lady, Michelle began to adopt a more modest and practical wardrobe during the re-election campaign. This shift wasn't just about aesthetics, it was a conscious reflection of the economic hardships many Americans were experiencing at the time. Her choices sent a subtle but powerful message of empathy and solidarity with the struggles of everyday citizens, positioning her as a relatable figure who understood the challenges facing the country. This approach helped soften her public image and contributed to her rising favorability, allowing her to connect with a broader audience on a more personal level. As the campaign advanced, Michelle Obama took a more prominent role, speaking with poise and confidence about her husband's strengths, particularly his debating skills. She assured the public that Barack Obama was fully prepared to face his opponent, Mitt Romney, on the debate stage. However, when the first debate took place, President Obama's performance was met with criticism, with many observers feeling that he appeared distant and disengaged. This moment was seen as a low point in the campaign, casting doubts on his ability to connect with voters in such a critical setting. Despite the challenges, Michelle remained a steady force. She took the stage at the 2012 Democratic National Convention and delivered a speech that captivated the nation. Her words were powerful, personal, and deeply resonant, painting a vivid picture of the values she and her husband shared. Again, the speech not only bolstered the campaign, but also strengthened Michelle's own image, solidifying her place as a key figure in the political landscape. The public response was overwhelmingly positive, and her favorability rating soared to its highest level since April 2009, reaffirming her status as a beloved and influential First Lady. Generally, Michelle's approach during the campaign was focused on humanizing her husband, sharing personal stories to connect with female voters, particularly in crucial swing states. This tactic mirrored that of Ann Romney, wife of the Republican candidate Mitt Romney. Eventually, the polls showed both presidential candidates were neck and neck among female voters. However, Michelle's personal favorability remained higher than Ann's, with 69% compared to 52%. Despite the close race, the media frequently drew comparisons between the two women leading up to the election, highlighting the unique roles they played in their husbands' campaigns. As Newsweek's Michelle Cottle remarked, while no one votes for First Lady, their influence was undeniable. What then could it be that destroyed or almost destroyed the Obama family? The birth of the Obama girls and their parents' dedication. At a point, Michelle Obama became open about the emotional and physical toll of her miscarriage, describing it as a deeply painful and isolating experience. In the pre-publication discussion of her memoir Becoming, she shared that, like many women, she initially felt a sense of personal failure, unaware that miscarriages are a common occurrence. This challenging period of her life revealed the often hidden struggles women face when trying to start a family. It was a moment of vulnerability that helped her recognize the importance of sharing such experiences to support others going through similar difficulties. In her memoir, Michelle went on to describe how the miscarriage shook her confidence and led her to seek alternative options to build her family. It was during this time that she and Barack turned to in vitro fertilization, IVF. The process wasn't particularly easy, It was emotionally draining and physically demanding, but it ultimately led to the joyous arrival of their first daughter, Malia Ann, in 1998. 3 years later, in 2001, they welcomed their second daughter, Natasha, affectionately known as Sasha. Throughout this journey, the Obama family remained deeply connected to their Chicago roots. Their home on the South Side became a sanctuary even amidst the demands of Barack's rising political career. After he was elected to the Illinois State Senate in 1996 and later to the U.S. Senate in 2004, they still chose to keep their home in Chicago. As mentioned earlier, this decision was intentional. They wanted to provide a stable and familiar environment for their daughters, ensuring that their family life remained grounded despite the growing spotlight on them. This commitment to family and balance became a cornerstone of their lives as they navigated the complexities of public service. During Barack Obama's 2008 presidential campaign, Michelle made a conscious decision to limit her time away from home. She would only spend 1 day a week campaigning, ensuring that she returned to her daughters by the end of the second day. Her dedication to her family remained unwavering, even amidst the political whirlwind. Early in their relationship, Michelle sought guidance from Barack's close confidant, Valerie Jarrett, before making significant career decisions. The couple faced challenges, particularly in balancing Barack's rising political ambitions with their family life. This often led to tension and disagreements about how to maintain a healthy work-life balance. In his book, The Audacity of Hope, Barack shared how they were frequently exhausted and stressed, which impacted their ability to connect on a deeper level. However, despite the pressures, they prioritized scheduling date nights and making time for each other, illustrating their commitment to their relationship. As the Obamas became deeply rooted in their Chicago life, education was a top priority for their daughters, Malia and Sasha. They were enrolled in the University of Chicago Laboratory Schools, a prestigious institution known for its rigorous academic programs and emphasis on fostering intellectual curiosity. However, for the Obamas, the school was more than just a place for their daughter's education. It also became a platform for Michelle to influence positive change. Michelle, who had always been deeply committed to issues of social justice, took on an active role within the school community. She served on the board of the school, and she became a passionate advocate for diversity. She recognized the importance of creating an inclusive environment that reflected the richness of the broader society. Her efforts were not just about maintaining diversity, but about expanding opportunities, ensuring that the school could welcome students from a variety of backgrounds. In this role, Michelle worked to develop and implement a plan to expand the school's reach. Her involvement highlighted her dedication to making a lasting impact, not only for her own children but for many others who would benefit from a more inclusive educational experience. Upon moving to Washington, D.C., the Obamas carefully selected Sidwell Friends School for Malia and Sasha, a prestigious institution known for educating the children of influential figures, including past presidents. The transition was a significant one, marking a new chapter in the girls' lives as they adapted to the unique pressures of growing up in the public eye. In a revealing moment on The Ellen DeGeneres Show in 2008, Michelle Obama candidly discussed the couple's decision to focus on raising their two daughters, affirming their choice not to have more children despite the demands and joys of parenthood. As the Obamas transitioned into their new life in the White House, Michelle understood that raising children in such a high-profile environment would come with its own set of unique challenges. Determined to provide Malia and Sasha with a sense of normalcy amidst the whirlwind of presidential life, Michelle turned to the wisdom of those who had walked this path before her. She sought out the guidance of former First Ladies Laura Bush, Rosalind Carter, and Hillary Clinton, each of whom offered invaluable advice drawn from their personal experiences of raising children under the intense public scrutiny that comes with residing in the nation's most famous home. The counsel she received helped Michelle navigate the complexities of balancing her daughter's need for privacy and normal childhood experiences with the realities of life in the White House. However, Advice alone wasn't enough to ensure the girls had the support they needed. To create a stable and nurturing environment, Michelle's mother, Marion Robinson, made the selfless decision to leave her own life behind and move into the White House. Marion became an integral part of the family's daily life, providing hands-on childcare and a comforting presence that grounded the girls amid their father's presidency. Marion's presence was more than just practical help. It represented a strong familial bond that anchored the Obama family during their historic time in Washington, D.C. Her steady guidance and love allowed Malia and Sasha to grow up with the stability that Michelle and Barack had always prioritized, despite the extraordinary circumstances surrounding them. Do you think it was enough that the Obamas dedicated that much time to their daughters? Is there anything you feel Michelle could have done better? Let's know your thoughts in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.